My name is Mason Herzing, and this is my audience. In the modern age, many people are aware that our global food system has its problems, but as evidenced by the audience analysis that I conducted, not many people know the extent or the available solutions. So today, I will introduce you to the extent of those problems, as well as some already existing solutions that many communities are already undertaking. The underlying issue to this global food system is that we have lost touch with how our food sources get us our food that we eat. Most people aren't aware of how the food on their plate got there in the first place or how it was produced. Globalization and industrialization have turned sustenance into commodity. We produce more waste than ever, but some still go hungry around the world, and it produces hazards to our health and to the environment. Many look around us today and see abundance, but that abundance lacks an abundance of nutrition. As a professor of sociology at Colorado University says in his book, The Real Cost of Cheap Food, this apparent cheapness is actually the issue. Because in the 1870s, the calorie was introduced to nutrition as a main source of identifying how food feeds the population. That means an emphasis on caloric-dense foods rather than nutrition-dense foods was placed under production. This has produced a food system abundant in oils, sugars, and fats, and this causes a lot of dietary health issues, as we are all aware. Diabetes, high cholesterol, and heart disease are among these issues. Another issue that industrialization and globalization has caused is unnatural agricultural practices. A professor at Johns Hopkins, Alan M. Goldberg, says, in Feeding the World Well, our current food production systems lack diversity in crops, animals, and are intensified but not sustainable, inhumane in the treatment of animals, and inconsiderate of labor. This takes a toll on the environment and the people involved. An emphasis on profit, as in any capitalist system, causes contradictions. That means that wealth is emphasized over the effectiveness of that process. An example of this is the average distance that most food travels before it even reaches your plate. Most food will travel 1,500 miles on average before it gets to the consumer. This causes undue energy subsistence, pesticide and livestock pollution, and a lot of biodiversity loss as monocultures range in the biggest agricultural production. But while all of this is true, we still have hope, because many communities, like I said, are already involved in sustainable agricultural alternatives. Not many see it as very obvious what we should do to fix this problem, but it is actually simpler than it seems. A focus on alternative thought and reconnecting with food source on the individual level could help rethink and refocus on how we get our food. Community gardens are at the forefront of this movement, as many urban areas are focusing on shortening the supply chain and placing power in those affected by the lack of agricultural resources. A great example of this is in San Diego, where a handful of gardens have fostered major interests and ordinance changes within the city itself. Rapid growth of these programs proves their benefits. One CDC article states that fruit and vegetable consumption is higher among participants in these community gardens. And one community garden was even evidenced to produce 770 pounds of fresh produce from one garden in one season. And it's even proven that participating in these programs has great mental health benefits, as activity and access in the processes of one's life creates a larger sense of fulfillment. Obviously, we have a lot of problems in our foodscape. Major pollution, energy consumption, and rapid health issues are a big problem in our society. But obviously, as stated, there are ways to fix them. Refamiliarizing people with food is the best method for change. We have to eliminate the profit motive, and this will make food better for everyone. Now, the bottom line is that we have to involve everyone affected at all levels of food production, and we have to educate them on how to use this nutritional food from the start to the finish. This, altogether, can make our food system seamless and sustainable.